Hello, hello. Let me go ahead and post this. Hey everyone. Okay, I'm live. So go ahead, and what I want you to do is go ahead and introduce yourself. So in the comment sections, I want you to say what grade you're going to be teaching this fall. Let's start with some introductions. Utilize the chat box to intro yourself, what grade level you are teaching this fall. I'm going to be in the process of pulling up my questions, and I'm also going to hop in on TikTok. Cool, cool. Okay, now we're live on two places. Okay, hey Audrey, Miss McCall, 3rd grade. Hello, Jan, 7th grade. Awesome. Cool. So excited to have y'all. So for those who are new here, my name is Tierney, also known as Miss Tierney, and I help beginning, upper elementary Title I teachers create a classroom that is maximized for student learning from day one. I firmly believe that with classroom management, it's super critical that you have that on point, because all effective teachers are able to possess that skill so that they can lay the groundwork so that they can actually help students achieve at very high levels, right? So without a solid classroom management foundation, it's literally impossible for you to really create the learning environment necessary for students to achieve at very high levels. So with that, I am doing this Q&A, and I'm going to pull up some of your questions. If you have questions that come up during the Q&A, then feel free to drop them in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer them. But I want to begin with some questions that were submitted to me before this live. Okay, so I'm going to start there and pull up one of the questions that I received. Let's see here. Wow, we have a mix of people here, and I love that. We have such a mix of people from 7th grade to 1st grade to 3rd grade. I'm obsessed with upper elementary, so I'm a little bit biased. That's where I've spent majority of my time in education. So love upper elementary. Okay, so let me click here so I can pull up the questions. Leanne, 2nd grade. Yes, awesome. Okay, Leanne, go ahead and drop your question so I can make sure to get to that for you. Y'all bear with me. It's been a very long day. For those who don't know, I I have left the classroom. I am now a school leader. So with that, what is a summer? I don't know what that is. So for that very reason, I've been in several meetings today, doing a lot to prepare my teachers to have a classroom maximized for student success from day one, because they know that that's critical. I mean, it's me. That's all I talk about online, so they get like front row access to me. And I'm excited because we finna make our classroom management plans. And my teachers are gonna be ready for this year. I can't wait. So excited. 7th through 12th, I teach at a private school. Oh, hey, Brandy. So fun fact about me, I actually went to a private school when I was growing up, K through 12, every single year, private Christian school. That was an experience. And I have vowed to not teach in a private school or not work in one. Okay, so here's one question that I received. What program do I follow when it comes to classroom management? This was from Brandy, okay? So I'm glad that you're here. So when it comes to classroom management, a program that I follow, I really have a mix of different programs that I follow, because over the years, I've been able to take, other strategies that people have said were gold, and I've been able to really morph them to fit my unique classroom management style. So one thing that I tell a lot of beginning teachers is that when it comes to classroom management, in the beginning, you will find that you find yourself adopting a lot of strategies that you maybe were taught, or that you see the veteran teacher down the hall using, or that your campus is doing as a whole. However, with that, you will learn over time to kind of tweak things to fit your learning style, your unique preferences. And so I don't really adopt one classroom management style. I've used a lot of different classroom management practices. For example, CHAMPS is one that I've used before from a school that I was at previously. One of my campuses was really big with PBIS. So I helped to do lead the PBIS program at that previous school. The school that I'm at currently and serving as the dean, we are using restorative justice. I've utilized strategies from Teach Like a Champion, regardless of what people say. I definitely believe that those are good strategies, and at the root, it really matters about the person who is utilizing the strategies, right? A lot of people like to say maybe some negative things about that, but at the end of the day, that's why I'm very big on teachers checking their implicit bias. Once you do that and you're able to address that as maybe some of the root causes, then we're able to move into how we can cultivate classroom management strategies that are a best fit for our students. So when it comes to classroom management, I don't really use just one thing. Now, another question that I received that I want to answer is from Jan: how do you avoid the use of sweet treats for incentives? Well, I don't see sweet treats as a problem. I love sweet treats. I love sweets in general. Okay. However, I don't really use that as my classroom management technique, or I will say when I was in the classroom, I did not use that as my classroom management technique. I did use that as a rewards opportunity for students. For example, allowing students an opportunity to kind of express what they liked for rewards. And then from there, a lot of them would say, oh, Takis, I love Takis. Or, oh, I really want some hot Cheetos. Or I really like this XYZ sour candy. That's fine. I really like to craft my rewards around the preferences of my students. However, what I will say with that is, as I said in one of my most recent TikTok videos, rewards are not a classroom management system. And I know in a lot of my reaction videos, I'm constantly reacting to Secret Student or the Jolly Rancher Wars or Desk Pets and different things like that. Yes, I react to those, but that's why if you read the captions on my videos, I literally say that these are reward systems. These are not a classroom management system. There's much more to classroom management than just shelling out rewards or trying to bribe kids to act well with rewards. That's going to be a problem, because if that's what you're solely relying on, or shelling out points, right? A lot of people take Class Dojo and they're like, that's my classroom management. No, that is not your classroom management. That is a way for you to document and track and, again, reward students, right? Giving them points. But it's not your full classroom management system. So it's very, very critical that you understand all of the different components that come within classroom management, right? I have my teachers, every time that I work with them, not only are we checking our implicit bias from the beginning and making sure that our mindset is in the right place and preparing us to be the best teacher for our students, but we create very clear classroom vision as well. And then from there, we're able to backwards plan our classroom management to be in alignment with that vision, right? So when we're creating our classroom management plans, it's very important that you start there with the mindset piece, setting a very clear vision. And then from there, you want to strategically lead your students to the vision that you have established. That's when it comes to all the little nitty-gritty nuances that come with your classroom management systems. And it's more than just procedures and routines. That's again, only a piece, just like rewards are only a piece. From once you have led your students to that vision through building out your classroom management systems, then that's when you want to figure out, okay, what's a way that I'm going to be able to check to see whether or not my students are actually in alignment with achieving the vision that I established, right? So how are you going to assess to the extent that your students are either on track to meeting expectations or not? And then from there, you want to also include the nurturing component, right? How are you going to strategically cultivate a classroom community? And not just something that you've seen online and you want to copy and paste, but actually a classroom community that is something that you can keep up with and is authentic to yourself. Let me go ahead and tell you a little bit of a story. With me, I am an introverted extrovert, an ambivert. That's what I am. So for me, when it comes to building relationships with students, staff, whatever, I have had to strategically find a way that works for me. Because when I'm constantly giving my energy out, I hit a very low point. It's like my battery drains. Have you ever seen the commercial about the Snickers, right? And when the person eats the Snickers, then they like go back to the regular selves. That's me. I have about 50% extrovert in me. Boom, boom, boom. I give that out, give that out, give that out. And then I hit a drop, right? And so some people, they are fully extroverted. So the way they build relationships is going to look super different than the way I build relationships. So you have to find a way to nurture, because it's about creating that environment that is warm yet demanding. A lot of teachers feel that, okay, I can't be warm and I can't be strict. There's no way for me to mean business but still be personable with my students. That's not the case. You can actually be both. And it's not either or. And so again, you have to strategically plan for how you're going to nurture and cultivate that classroom community. With everything with your classroom management, it must be consistent. You cannot be consistent if you don't have a plan. That is why I preach a plan. And when I coach teachers, I actually do not work with them until we have strategically created a plan and they have started to implement that with integrity, with fidelity in their classroom. Because otherwise, just like the cup example, I give them a strategy, it's going to work, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, it worked. Tierney, the strategy you gave me worked. Yeah, I know it will. But over time, it's not going to work for you because you don't have a foundation to begin with. Let me see here. I wonder if I go to Instagram, if it's going to close me out, because I need to log in so that I can access my DMs and the questions. What's going on? What do we think thus far? Is this helpful to you? If so, type it in the chat. Let me see what questions are coming up for you at this moment. Interact with me, people. Interact. Who is this right here? You are faithful, Ellie. Thank you, Ellie. What grade are you teaching? What are your best tips for starting the new school year? I'm moving from SPED to Gen Ed, more kids. Oh, you're gonna be fine. As far as my best tips for starting the new school year, get that classroom management in order, create that classroom management plan, one that's uniquely tailored to you and who you are as an educator, not something you find online. Because if you utilize something you find online that's pre-made for you on TPT, you're not going to implement it with fidelity because it's not unique to who you are. That teacher was creating a classroom management plan based off their unique style. You need to create one that's unique to you, the classroom that you want to build, the community that you want to nurture in your classroom. So it's super critical that you start there, because student achievement does not happen without proper classroom management. It won't happen. So I definitely recommend that as my best tips for starting the new school year. I also want to tell you, when it comes to mindset, please focus on your locus of control. And this is my top tip for my beginning teachers. Please focus on your locus of control. When you are serving, because you know here on my platforms, I'm here to service my Title I teachers, right? My content is driven to serve you. So when we're thinking of Title I schools, there's going to be a lot of different things that come up. Okay, there's going to be a lot of things that come up last minute. So if you're type A, you're going to struggle. With that said, it is very important that you understand that you need to focus on your locus of control. That means that you are responsible for you and what is within your scope of control. If other things happen and get thrown at you and last minute things come from admin or whoever, that's nothing that you can control. You're just going to have to roll with the punches. So I would encourage you to come into this new year with that at the forefront of your mind. Even too, if you're transitioning like from your sped ed to gen ed, there's definitely going to be a whole different situation happening. So focus on your locus of control. Don't make excuses. No excuses. Right? It's very easy for us to blame our school district. It's very easy for us to blame our admin team and our leaders. It's easy for us to blame our parents and how, oh, our parents aren't involved enough. Nope. Focus on you. What can you do? What is in your power? What is the change that you can be? And that's it. Let's see. I'm trying to get to these questions on Instagram. You guys, is TikTok gonna log me out if I, well, we'll see. Let me see. Okay, hi. We're gonna get to your question, Anthony, because you are faithful to have shown up today. Okay, so I'm gonna read your question. I think that I had a question about building classroom management plan in the primary grades. It's important to build relationships and be consistent with your classroom management plan. Yes, thank you. Okay. But I'm having trouble with coming up with a plan in place if I have to give a consequence to a student. I'm not a fan at all of these, but know that they will be needed once in a while. I do not want to send any students out of my classroom and would prefer to solve any issues in my class. I might have some more questions, but as of right now, I can't think of them. Okay. First of all, I'm so glad that you understand the importance of having a classroom management plan, because there's too many teachers on this planet who don't. So one, kudos to you, clapping, clapping, clapping. Yes, it's important to build relationships and to be consistent with your classroom management, but you're having a hard time coming up with a plan. Right. That's why I have a course for that. But as far as giving a consequence to a student, yep, and I discussed that in depth inside of my course and exactly walk you through ways that you can create consequences that again are aligned to who you uniquely are as an educator. You said that you don't really believe in consequences. You should be able to develop some kind of system to hold students accountable, right? That's in alignment with who you uniquely are as an educator. I'm fully in agreement with that, 100%. So with that, I will say that I am definitely hearing when you say that you don't want to send students out. The moment that you send students out of your classroom, you lose the authority that you had in your classroom, right? And no, we're not here to be like, oh, we're the drill sergeant's authority. We command authority of our classroom and yada, yada, yada. It's not saying that we are that type of authoritarian perspective. I'm not saying to adopt that model, but I am saying that if you're constantly diverting to sending students out, because I hear a lot of teachers who talk about, oh, I send my student next door when they need a little break or a breather or whatever. You keep doing that, that student is going to start cutting up in a way that they know that they get an out and they get to go to Miss Johnny's classroom across the hallway. Miss Johnny could be doing the same exact thing that some people complain that admin does. Have you ever heard of the students coming back to the classroom after they were sent to the office and they have like the cupcake or something like that, like a little sweet treat, so to speak? And it's like, okay, I sent you there because you were in trouble. Why are you coming back with something like a cupcake? What in the world? So I would definitely say that you are in the right frame of mind when thinking about every time you send a student out, that is contributing towards, you are losing your authority as a teacher. So when it comes to that, there are multiple different ways that you can develop consequences. I would encourage you to think about ways that you can develop a logical consequence hierarchy in your classroom. That's something that I walk teachers through inside of my course. And so you should find a way that is going to be authentic to who you are as an educator and ones that make sense. I also have teachers walk through ways that they can develop a consequence hierarchy that's in alignment with their core values, right? So if we have certain core values in our classroom, such as inclusivity and different things like that, we want to make sure that as we build out our classroom systems, that they are in alignment with that. So definitely when you're trying to develop your consequences for your classroom, you should definitely think about what is the classroom environment that you're trying to create, first of all, like I said, with the vision statement, and then walk your students back through that. What is a way that you can still be in alignment and hold true to that vision and your core values, but in a way that you're still going to be able to hold your students accountable, because they do need to be held accountable. So I'm glad that you do understand that that's the purpose of consequences. They should never be to harm kids. We don't build consequences out to harm kids. And so that's something to definitely keep in mind. And I also want to give you another tip. When you are building out your consequences, you want to choose something that you're going to be able to be consistent with. For example, if you do not like to give after school detention, if you don't like to give that, then please don't select that as a part of your consequence hierarchy, because how are you going to remain consistent with that? How are you going to remain consistent with something you know you don't really like to do? It's like, oh, little Johnny, he did X, Y, and Z, so he needs to have the after school detention, but I really don't want to do that after school detention. You know you don't want to do the after school detention, so why would you pick it? Right? So when it comes to your consequences, you need to think of ways that you are going to hold students accountable if they choose not to meet your expectations. And you want to make sure that it's really logical and makes sense. Okay, so you definitely want to come up with a plan that's very gradual, but also logical. So we start here, we end up here. Like the office thing should be the last resort. In my work, I'm making sure that teachers are empowered to have the tools that they need so that they don't even feel that they have to send a student out to me. Because in my role as a dean, the students get sent to me. And I am here to make sure that my teachers have all the tools. That's what happens when you work at my school. They just have all the tools that they need so that they can address all the misbehaviors should they come up, right, within their classroom. Rather than feeling like the only option they have is to send little Johnny out to me. No, because when they do that, little Johnny is not learning. The opportunity gap is widening for little Johnny. We send little Johnny to school so that he can receive a quality education, so he can expand access and opportunity for his lifelong future. If he's being sent to my office, he is not able to learn. So I make sure my teachers really understand that, and that they understand the rationale between, if you do send little Johnny to me, please know little Johnny is going to be coming back very briefly because he needs an education. Let's see, who else is here? Hi, Hannah, Amy, what do you teach? Hello, Leylon 0715. I hope I answered your question. If you have any more, please drop them below. For those who are tuning in on YouTube, feel free to drop your questions in the comments. Let's see who's still with me. Miss McCall, Jan, Anthony, What other questions do you all have for me? For those who are not familiar, if you haven't already, which I'm sure you have, and if you are here, I highly recommend that you enroll in my 5-video classroom management mini course at bit.ly/transform your class. That will help you to get in the right mindset. I have updated it recently, so it's definitely going to help you to get in the right mindset so that you understand the importance of classroom management and having not just classroom management, but a full comprehensive classroom management plan. Other than that, on my YouTube channel, for those who are on TikTok, you should know that I have a lot of other classroom management strategies on my YouTube channel from over the years. I have been doing YouTube about classroom management since 2015. I also share more things about what brought me to education in the first place and my journey through Teach for America and all of that good stuff. But if there are no other questions, then I'm going to hop off here. So do not hold your peace. If you would like to ask me any more of your burning classroom management questions, here's the chance. Should I do this more often? I feel like I should do these classroom management lives more often. If so, when? I'm gonna tell you too, I am a big morning person. Like, I love doing everything in the morning. So a lot of the times when I do go live, it's in the morning time. And I know that a lot of people just are unwilling to wake up at the crack of dawn. So, but again, that goes back to my Snickers example. My battery runs dry. There's no way I can hop on this. Once we start school with our kids coming, there's no way you're going to catch me on YouTube or anywhere else live in the afternoon because I will be dead. For those who are interested in the classroom management plan course, I dropped the link in the chat so you can do that. Hi, I teach year 2 in England. Oh, hey, England, we're international. Yes. Oh, yeah, Leylon. Okay, hey, Leylon 0715, the link is in my bio. So if you click on my face and you go to my bio, click in that link there and it'll go right to you. It'll go right to you. You'll see it. It's the first link I have there. But let me see if I can type it here for you too. Don't worry, England. I'm going to answer your question. 1 second. I just want to get her the link. Transform your class. Here you go. I dropped it in the chat for you. Okay. Hi, I teach year 2 in England. What's your biggest tip for management at the start of the year? Get a classroom management plan. Hey, Deborah Paul, represent. We see you, girl. 6th grade ELA. Yes. Drop your question if you have one, Deborah. Yes, get a classroom management plan. You need a classroom management plan, Hannah, because it's super, super critical that you're able to lay the foundation. I do a lot of research when it comes to classroom management. I've done a lot of research over my principal certification. I've done a lot of research over when I was earning my master's degree. And it is very, very critical. The role that classroom management plays in actually even being an effective teacher, because all classroom management is doing is allowing you to create a learning environment that is conducive to actual learning. Kids cannot learn in chaos. They can. And so that's what it really frustrates my spirit when I see newer teachers, okay, because I'm here to serve my beginning teachers. So 5 or less years of experience. That was my phone. 5 or less years of experience, I'm your girl. So it really just makes my spirit hurt really bad when I see teachers who are just running to the Target dollar spot and they have their classroom ready to go with the decoration, but they have no plan in place for classroom management. Forget a lesson plan. They don't have the classroom management plan. The classroom management plan is what's going to allow you to even execute the lesson in the lesson plan. So when you don't prioritize that, you're pretty much saying, hey, students, I know you need a quality education, but I'm just focused on what this room looks like. And now let me tell you before you be like, oh my gosh, the look of your classroom plays a very big role in the culture. I'm not saying don't focus on that. I'm saying it should not be top priority. Top priority should be your classroom management plan. And then underneath that is when we want to focus on the other elements, which includes the decor and all of that. Yes, okay. So that's what I'm going to say is my top advice at the start of the year. And do not rush into teaching those lessons. Don't. That content will be there all year. It will be there. But you know what's going to be really sad is if you choose not to prioritize your classroom management and you can never really get through a lesson without having to stop to try to redirect Johnny, but you can't really redirect Johnny because you never told Johnny what the expectations were in the first place. You never consistently implemented them. You never held Johnny accountable for them in a way that was firm but fair. And so you're never going to get to those lessons, okay? So I don't play when it comes to classroom management. Like even for my own teachers, when they step into our campus in a couple of weeks, classroom management plan is priority. That is what the PD is on, classroom management. Because you need that. In order for our students to achieve at high levels, that's what you need. What does day one in the first week of the classroom look like? Day one looks like you telling kids the expectation. Okay, so telling kids the expectations, practicing a bunch of procedures and routines, telling kids exactly what will happen should they choose not to meet the expectations, telling students what will happen when they do choose to meet the expectations, investing your students deeply in the goals for academic achievement that you have for the school year. It looks like a lot of community building. Yes, day one. That's day one. I spent a lot of time doing community building prompts. So like even in my classroom management plan course, there's a whole bonus that I built out from my own classroom, 30 days worth of community building prompts and community building activities that is already planned and made for you, that you can just take and execute immediately, because that is critical. When you're saying this is the expectation, this is how you're going to act, this is how you're going to show up in my classroom each and every day, you have to balance that out with and this is why I care for you in this way. I want to learn more about who you are. I want to share more about who I am. I want to get to know you. I want to build really strong relationships with you. I want to connect with you. Because if you don't learn how to build trust with your students, it's not going to work. You can't just come with them with the demeanor of, this is my classroom, these are the expectations, and this is what you're going to follow, without also cushioning that with the warm energy as well. Do you have, okay. Hey, Leanne, go ahead and tell me what grade level you teach so I just have a little more context about your question. Do you have any favorite books you use with students the first few days to help facilitate conversation and build positive culture? I do not, Leanne. I do not. I find that a lot of teachers who do use the favorite books are normally teaching the lower grades, right? Our lower L, so our K1-2. But as for me, I have spent majority of my time in upper elementary. And so I don't have any favorite books off the top of my mind to facilitate conversation. So that's why I rely on my community building prompts and my community building activities that I utilize. Yes, second grade. That's what I thought, lower L. Cool. Yep. So I rely on my community building prompts that I use to build a classroom community and really build that foundation for strong student collaboration, because my classroom, when I was teaching, was always very student-centered, very student-centered. It's not me up there talking, yapping. I say what I need to say, step back, let my students have as many at-bats as possible. Thank you. Oh, thank you. For fourth grade, seated in groups or rows. So let me tell y'all a little story. And I'm laughing a little bit because I saw something online and it was of a teacher. It was a teacher on TikTok. I can't remember what her name was. But anyway, she was talking about like the teacher basically that can't handle the students being in groups. So year one, okay? Year one, I'm teaching third grade. So year one, teaching third grade, I had my groups and I was like, yes, I'm gonna do my table groups. And I quickly pulled those table groups apart, like gone. And it went to I think I did like the horseshoe because that was my way of getting around it. It was like they're close enough to collaborate, but they're not looking at each other in the face because they don't have the self-control to handle it. That was my viewpoint then. I just needed to cultivate a way to build out stronger systems at that point to make sure that students were able to productively engage within sitting in table groups. So I will say that after that year, I was team table groups because I figured out my unique way. After trial and error year one, I figured out my unique way to do the table groups, but I am definitely in favor of table groups. Not really sure what your campus is allowing. You know, every campus is different right now when it comes to protocols with things from the pandemic and safety. I know my current campus, we're rolling back fully face-to-face in the fall, but I know that there are some people who are going to be face-to-face, but still have some people who are virtual and allow students and families that choice. So I would just say if you're able to be together and they don't still have the limits on you as far as like social distancing protocols, I'm definitely team groups. I mean, you tell me, how do you feel when you walk into a classroom and you see rows versus when you walk into a classroom and you see table groups? What are your initial thoughts there? That does contribute to the culture of that classroom and how it looks and feels, right? And so we want to really create a productive environment that promotes collaboration. So that was a good question. Anyone else have questions? Hello, people on TikTok. Drop your questions in the chat. Do you cover, okay, Leanne, I'm going to get to your question. Do you cover those activities and prompts in your course? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is in the course. So it's a part of the bonus bag, right? I have the 4 modules that I talked about with the preparing and all the lessons there and the leading and all the lessons there, which building out your systems and the way that you assess the student's behavior and all that. I built that out as well. And then I have the nurturing model. And in the nurturing model, I talk about ways to strategically connect with students and build trust with them. And then you have the bonus bag. So in the bonus bag, there are, that's where my whole community building activities that I have used personally are built out in the course. Okay, what other questions do you have? Middle school consequences. Hi, Dylan. I just talked about consequences actually. So my quick recap of that would be build out systems for consequences that are logical, ones that you feel are authentic to who you are as an educator, ones that you're going to be able to be consistent with, and ones that are never harmful for kids. Any advice for first year teachers? Yes, ma'am. Okay, first of all, I'm going to tell you, if you click the link in my bio, okay, if you click the link in my bio and you go to my YouTube channel, my #1 top video, most viewed on my channel is all about tips for first year, that first year. Actually, week one in the classroom, or it might be day one. All I know is I made that with first year teachers in mind. So those are all of my tips. But listen, if you saw my TikTok the other day, I am pro union. I wish someone would have told me that my first year in the classroom. Nothing popped off or happened, but it is necessary because that's a whole separate Q&A for another day. When I tell you the things that I have seen happen to teachers, it hurts my soul. It really does. Um, just get a union, please. If you are a first year teacher, please get a union. Please get a union. That's all I want to say. For those who are here with me, I'm giving you a code. So, for those who are here with me, if you want my classroom management plan course, I'm giving it to you right now. Not the mini course, the fully paid course that walks you through everything I've just been yapping about that I believe in strongly, that will allow you to have a successful year. I stand by this 100%. 100%. If you type in this code, July 7th, and you redeem that within the next hour, then you will receive $50 off of the course. So here you go. There it is. Okay. Dumb question. No. How is it dumb? Dumb question. But is it possible that there is a union for Texas teachers? Yes. Okay, somebody, if y'all don't know, I am in Texas, right? I am in Texas. And that's where I spent all of my time in education. There's a union. Like, I've been had a union. I don't have it anymore because I'm not a teacher. So as a school leader, I don't have a union. But as a teacher, I had a union. So join that. Join that union, please. It is worth it. It is worth it because you just never know. Join AFT, it's American Federation of Teachers. They have branches within Texas and it's probably for your unique district. Hello, Miss Randa. Thanks for joining. Okay, what other questions do we have? Whatever questions do we have? I could literally talk about the union all day, but I won't. Let me see if I have any other questions. This has been very enjoyable. I really enjoy you all coming out. And I hope that you will redeem that voucher for that course so you can be day one ready. I love when teachers prioritize classroom management. I swear, if you just do what I'm telling you, you won't have a problem. And I want to be so clear, like the exact role that I have as a school leader, I was hired for this role because of my classroom management skill set. Like a big part of my current role is doing exactly a little taste of what y'all are getting right now, training my teachers on that classroom management and making sure that they have the foundations ready. A whole school chose me to do that. That's not all that I do, but that's a really big part because they know what the data shows and what the research shows about classroom management. And I'm going to tell you too, when you think about my specific classroom management plan course, it is uniquely tailored for you to design, right, a classroom management system that's unique to who you are. Everyone who goes through my course will end up with a different classroom management plan that's uniquely tailored to their style, right? So with that, if you are more laid back, right, and you're like, my style is more laid back and chill, okay, that can still be weaved into your classroom management plan. Just because you're laid back and chill doesn't mean you get to opt out of classroom management. You just build out systems that are unique to that will allow a learning environment that is supportive of student academic success. Also, when it comes to Title I schools, sure, there's other teachers who have made classroom management courses and things of that nature. But me, My classroom management plan course is uniquely tailored to those who are serving within Title I communities, because that's a whole different ball game of classroom management. So a lot of people are out here and they're buying classroom management courses and things like that, but does that person who's creating the course actually have experience with classroom management in the community that you're serving in? Those are the types of questions that you need to ask too. But I always stand by my work. Does access continue after the completion of the course? I love to have this to refer back to. Yeah, you get the access to the course for 1 solid year. You get access to the course for 1 solid year. And if you choose to say, "Ooh, I really want to revisit this again the next year," and you want it for another year, then you get to choose that. So you cancel at any time. If you don't want access to the course any longer, then you are not required to do that. So I like it because it gives teachers that opportunity, especially when we come back from the winter break and it's in January. You definitely want to go and revisit this course, because the kids, it's like they haven't seen a classroom in 10 million years, so they really need that refresher. And so you get to go back through it. So yeah, guys, I've enjoyed my time with you all, and I thank you for joining in. Make sure you go ahead and click the link that is in the chat if you want to grab the classroom management plan course. And you can always use this code July 7th for the next hour. Like I said, the code will be up and then it will be gone. But I will see y'all later. Thank you for joining, and have a good rest of your day. Yay, Leanne. I hope to see you in the course. Bye-bye.